We learned some pretty personal information about Eric Trump recently based on his interview with Fox and Friends. Let's take a quick look.
Her name is Chris. She doesn't want to give her last name because she says that her colleagues at work, it wouldn't go well with them. She lives in Manhattan. She's in her 50s.
Secret Trump voter.
That's right. She's gay. She said her 401k went up with your dad, 19.6%. Gas prices better than they were under Obama. She goes on to say that Obamacare was $560 a month for her, and she had lost her job, so she was priced out. She talks about crime in the neighborhood. She talks about Bill de Blasio and how he's inept, that the Trump-Russia thing, the Clintons' fingerprints are all over it. She calls Joe Biden weak. But she doesn't want to use her last name. And there are a lot of people that might be voting for your dad that aren't admitting it. And
it was Bret Stephens, who's been a critic of your dad, who wrote the editorial.
So are you counting on this person, on the secret voter?
Ainsley, that person's there. I'm telling you, I see it every day. The LGBT community, they are incredible. And you should see how they've come out in full force for my father every single day. I'm part of that community, and we love the man. And thank you for protecting our neighborhoods, and thank you for protecting our cities.
Oh, I didn't know it was part of the LGBTQ community. That's incredible. Cenk.
Look, Don Jr., you've seen him in action. Not the brightest bulb. But they hide Eric Trump because they're worried he's that level of stupid. I mean, Don Sr. is one of the dumbest people in American politics ever. And he's embarrassed of Don Jr., and Don Jr. is embarrassed of Eric. So that's the situation we're in. So after the appearance, he had to put out a statement saying, oops, I didn't mean that I'm part of the LGBT community. And then they asked for a further clarification, and he said, yes, I want to be specific. I am not bisexual.
Let me give you his quote. So he says, to clarify, many of our close friends are part of the LGBT community, which was the intent of my statement. As to me personally, as I think you know, I am happily married. I'm a happily married man to my wife, Laura. Also, there was a friend who came out in support of Eric Trump, just to make sure they cross their T's, dot their I's. President Trump's son Eric affirmed he's not part of the LGBTQ community. After appearing to come out in a televised interview Tuesday, a friend told the Post that he misspoke. So a friend came in for the save as well.
Yeah.
By the way, there's nothing, obviously, I want to be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being part of that community. It's just that Eric Trump is stupid and probably had no idea what LGBT even means. That's what this story is, basically.
Yeah, and no, look, if we're gonna make it serious for a second, Donald Trump tried to ban transgender people from the military, even though they're willing to sacrifice their lives for the rest of us. Donald Trump has made a giant issue about which bathroom they use. And so is Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. So the most important part of the story is they're outrageous liars. They're the ones trying to discriminate against that community as we speak. And then they're like, hey, we found one sucker who's part of the community who said something nice about Donald Trump. And now we'll pretend that community is on our side. It's actually Fox News 101. Here's an African American to tell you how black culture is all wrong and it's their fault and not the fault of Republicans or the government or police. Here's a Latino to tell you Latinos are wrong. I mean, this is the oldest trick in the book. And so Eric just wasn't smart enough to be able to execute the simplest thing in the world. And Anna, to the point that you made, there's this great irony of them being like, oh, we love the LGBT community. And they're like, oh, are you a part of it? He's like, no way, I'd never be part of the LGBT community. Are you nuts? I'm definitely not LGBT, but we like that community. Really?
I know. Anyway.
Funny way of showing it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.